Hey there, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Total Ramblings. It is episode 300. 300 episodes of Total Ramblings. That's a hell of a milestone, eh? So, at the time of writing this, not even reading this, saying this, talking about this, making this stuff up as I go along. There's no script. I'm not writing anything. At the time of saying this, just waiting for this car to go away. It's about 25 minutes past 3, and it is Saturday the 28th of June. Somebody, Dave, pointed out that I accidentally said Saturday the 27th of June in yesterday's birthday vlog. That's because it felt like a Saturday. I'd had the day off. But my immediate reaction was, yay, I get another Saturday. Saturdays are my favourite day of the week, without fail. So there we go. So I have Anthony stayed with me last night because his uncle, my wife's sister, is still in hospital. It's just easier for my mother-in-law, but Anthony still wanted to go and see his mum today at the hospital. So I've dropped him off at John's hospital. His grandma's picking him up. Then they're going to go and see Liz at her hospital. And I have a mission. I am heading to a place in town called Crown Heights. And last night I had a cry for help, kind of hanging off of my drone video from last week. Crown Heights is this big sort of circular kind of apartment block in the centre of Basingstoke, and apparently there's a problem there with the cladding. Anyone familiar with the UK might recall that some years ago there was a massive fire at a place called Grenfell Tower, where basically the renovators had cheaped out on I think it was aluminium type cladding that they'd put on the face of the tower to make it look nicer. Unfortunately, it was basically like encasing the whole building in a block of petrol, because it was incredibly flammable and a load of people died. And big scandal, obviously, cutting costs and all the rest of it for the sake of people's lives. And I think Crown Heights is in a similar situation. There's basically been a nationwide exercise to identify tower blocks with the wrong type of cladding. Anyway, this lady, Jean, wrote to me on Facebook, and she says that the residents of Crown Heights, it's costing them £500 a month in maintenance, I think, to get this cladding done or replaced. I'm not sure. And it's costing them £350 a month in terms of property insurance, because insurers don't want to touch it, obviously. And basically, the story goes that they had like a sort of mural painted on the wall to try and highlight their plight. But as I'm told, apparently this mural is not visible from the ground. Someone's put a load of planks up or something, and they had a guy out with a drone who essentially failed to charge up his drone, and they can't get pictures of this thing. So she's asked me if I can go out and take some footage with my drone, photos, what have you. So, having dropped off Anthony, that is where I am going now. I am heading into central Basingstoke, which is just a couple of minutes away, and I'm going to park up in the multi-storey, and I am going to go to Crown Heights and see if I can put this drone up. I'm doing it by request of one of the residents. Apparently the builders are putting drones up all the time, so I'm unlikely to get complaints, so I am told. Obviously I can't take money for this job. I do not have a commercial drone license, but I think I've gone the wrong way because I'm talking with you guys. Never mind, I'm going to go around. I've gone into autopilot, and I've taken the route home and not the correct route to the town centre, but that's okay. It gives me more time to talk to you guys. Yeah, I can't accept payment for this. Not that any payment has been offered anyway, but basically I would need a commercial drone license and commercial insurance and proper training to get said commercial drone license. Also, Liz just texted me and I was momentarily distracted by the vibration on my wrist as I was navigating that roundabout. And also, here's another thing today. Apparently every single traffic light in Basingstoke is trying to catch me. I think that they're playing some kind of Pokemon game and that I am the Pokemon, and that the traffic lights are communicating with each other and they're all going, tick, yes, I got that bastard, I've got him today, because everywhere I go, I've got lights trying to go red on me and stopping me. Every single set of traffic lights I encounter, which is rather pissing me off slightly. Anyway, avoided this one, Anyway, right, so, yes, I am doing this this job, in inverted commas, purely as a favour. So don't anyone get heated about me being paid for doing drone jobs, because I can't be paid. And it's fun to put the drone up, right? Obviously, I have already checked Drone Assist and there are no flight restrictions. I will check again when I get there. Please stop writing to me, Liz. I'm trying to do a monologue to camera. And I will check Drone Assist again and make sure that I'm allowed to fly. The nearest potential area of hazard is the train. There's train lines nearby, and apparently they don't like you flying over those. But I don't think it's it's not a no-fly thing. But anyway, I also don't think it's enforced. But I'm not going near the train lines. So yes, that's what I'm up to. Look, I've been stuck at these traffic lights again. Does that not prove my point? Or am I just being paranoid? I don't know. And like I've said before, is it really paranoia if you can physically demonstrate that everyone's out to get you? Because, oh look, behold, the next set of traffic lights has stopped me. What's that? 50 yards? 50 yards between sets of traffic lights, and they've both hit me on red. Now, here's the thing, right? Basingstoke is known for roundabouts, and the whole fucking point about roundabouts is that you don't have to have traffic lights or crossroad intersections, and yet people insist on putting traffic lights onto roundabouts, and I just think that's utterly ridiculous. And look, 20 yards later, I've been stopped by the third set of traffic lights, and there's another set of traffic lights up there. So this reminds me of driving in Glasgow. I drove in Glasgow one morning, and Glasgow is often used to represent American cities in films. World War Z, for example. I believe because Glasgow's grid pattern resembles something like Philadelphia. Anyway, it's so fucking bad that literally every single block I was stopping at traffic lights. Stop. 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 I've got another set of traffic lights up ahead now, and they're on red already, and I'm having to stop. And they're going amber, and now they're green. Like, traffic lights, what's that all about? Anyway, I'm now on the right course. I'm about to park up. I'm going to take you guys with me to film this, obviously along with the drone. Drone number 1 in my inventory, my Mini 4 Pro, by far the drone that's got the most flight. My Avata 2, I can't fly that because I need a spotter and I'm mostly on my own at home. And the Neo, it's a fun little drone. Don't have an excuse to fly it though, really. Probably should, but the camera's not as good as the Mini 4. So anyway, we are going to park up in this multi-storey car park now, and I'm going to catch up with you guys straight afterwards. Here we are in the multi-storey, and we are going to be heading to Crown Heights to get this drone footage. Shooby dooby 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 dooby. Shooby dooby 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 dooby. get this party started on a Saturday night. Now then, what I'll do is, should have bought my hat. Meant to bring my hat. It's hot. Never mind. Okay. Right then, you can see what it's like to be me as I walk around.
Oh, we've got condoms. We're going London.
Right. I think this is it. I think this is Crown Heights. I've never actually been in here. You can see there's a crap ton of scaffolding up. That's the Londis planning application, Crown Heights. It's for a display of banners whilst building works are taking place, and I'm hoping you can see all the scaffolding that's up here on this part of the building at least. So, I've been told that if I stand in the middle and look towards Londis, but the curved part goes around like that. So, I don't know how I get in. Okay. I need to look this up. Google Maps. How do we get into Crown Heights? Yeah, see, look. There's an entrance there, but that's blocked off with building works. Does that mean I have to go down to get in through the bottom way? I actually don't know. This is a bit of a faff, I have to say. Residential car park only. I could probably, in theory, yeah, so there's gates at the bottom here. I could probably, in theory, go through here and walk up. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Right, we're now in the underground car park of the building itself. There are some steps over there. Let's see if we can get up to ground floor level up there. Looks like we probably can. Yeah, there's a walkway up there going to the shopping centre. Okay. Okay. I think this is where, this is where I need to be, I think. Here we go. Right. Okay. I think that's it up there. I think that's the sign, because I had a picture of it sent to me. So, should we have a look? I'm going to get the drone out now. And we'll see if we get attacked for doing something that people don't like, because it seems to be the way of the world lately. Right, activated. That's it there. Okay. Right. Oh yes, let's check drone assist. Make sure there's no restrictions here. So DRO, drone assist. Yeah, we're right in the middle here. There's nothing. Okay.
Take off. Home point updated.
well, that was interesting. No hassle from anybody. There was a lady, I assume a resident, sitting on a bench on a personal phone call, smiled at me, seemed quite happy for me to be there. And then this guy came up who, I'm not sure, I don't think he was a resident, but he'd been told about the mural, the artwork, and he was asking me if he could take a picture of my controller and the pictures I'd taken. So he's got second-hand pictures of a low-res preview, but that's okay. And then so I went up. I did some photos first, horizontal and vertical mode, using the drone as close as I dare, because there's lots and lots of scaffolding in the way and a really big updraft, because this building is circular, and it's like acting as almost like a funnel going up for the air as it rises, so quite choppy up there. And then I put up and then excuse me, as you'll see from the footage, I put the drone up again and I got some video. And then these two guys, Alex and Henry, turned up with their own Mini 4 Pro, and they were there on behalf of the artist to take drone footage, because I didn't realise this artwork got completed last night about 9:30, and they couldn't do the footage because the sun was going down, or had gone down. So this artwork's brand new, so this is like breaking news, right? So I'm on the way home now, and I'm going to edit this footage and these photos, and as Jean has requested, this lady Jean, I am going to blitz local social media with these pictures. I might have a scoop, as they say. So anyway, there you go. Wanted to kind of go higher and get like a really high shot looking at the building from above, but I was concerned that wind shear, once I got outside the funnel, might, you know, send the drone off in a direction where I couldn't see it or recover it. So I think I've done the safest option. I don't wish to state the bleeding obvious, but it is bloody hot. My car says 29 degrees. My watch says 27. It is sweltering out there. So I'm going to go home and open up all the doors again, let the cats outside again, and just cool the house down and chill for the rest of the day. And I also picked up some drinkies. Really, really hot. Wish I'd taken my hat. I've got 3 of them in the back. Why did I forget? Andrew, you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. Okay, so I am back home now, and I'm going to show you the video that I've put together. I've put it across a whole bunch of Basingstoke related Facebook groups, and I've also sent it to the local paper. It's also on YouTube in this channel, and it's on Flickr with accompanying photos. So I'm telling you this now because you're going to see like an end credit, but that's not the end of this episode. It's the end of the video that I did. I will be coming back to you after that. So let's have a look at that right now. Right. Hope you enjoyed that. Okay, so episode 300. Let's have a quick chat about the state of the channel, shall we? So, at the time of reading, I keep saying reading. At the time of saying this, I have 347 subscribers. Yesterday I had 344, and I lost one, went down to 343, and I was wondering why, but I've now got 347. So that's good. We are in a generally upward trend. Yeah, so far, as I say, this is full episode 300. I also have a bunch of shorts. Let's have a quick look. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 shorts. 15 official, what YouTube calls shorts. But there are also some that I've classified as shorts that are in my feed that aren't really full episodes. So we've got quite a few episodes up now. As I say, this is episode 300. A while ago, I mentioned that I might have some news on the podcasting front. Now, I don't really mean to get all maudlin and keep going on about this, but my friend Siobhan died more than 6 months ago now. And although I'd spent much of the last year of her life pushing her and other people away because of my own personal problems, I do very much miss her and the podcasting side of things. And our mutual friend Adam said to me some months ago that somebody might be contacting me with a view to possibly adding me to a crew, a podcasting crew. Now, that gentleman was James Rockcliffe. If James is watching this, hello, James. James is, I think he heads up the, it's just called The Doctor Who Podcast, www.thedoctorwhopodcast.com. And basically he was looking for a tech-savvy host to join their team, ultimately somebody who could possibly take on editing. Now, I'm conflicted here because I know what I'm like, right? And yes, I would really like to do it. The problem is, I know what I'm like. And the problem is, it's a pattern that I've had in my life since I was 8 years old, that I've gone back through my memory, and that's the first time I can remember it happening. And the problem is that I internally, for reasons that I don't entirely fathom, but I have had an epiphany on this recently, I become incredibly resentful of having to sort of fit around other people's timetables and kind of knowing, for example, that on a Tuesday night I've got to do so-and-so. I'm not going to say I'm a free spirit, but doing this podcast, this vlog, on YouTube, this is perfect, right? Because it's just me. And if I can't be bothered to do something, I don't do it. And it's just me. I don't have to coordinate with anybody else. I don't have to talk to anybody else. I can do this in my own time, at my own pace. And sometimes I am motivated to do stuff and other times I'm not. And this is the problem with fitting with other people. And it's a me problem. It's not it's not other people that are the problem. It's me. I'm the problem, right? And what happens is, also my interests, they're never fixed on one thing. They drift. And I always go back to certain things. So there are certain things I've always been interested in. Star Wars, Doctor Who, Lego. But I go through cycles, right? Because for reasons that I won't go into right now, I surround myself with things so that I don't get bored. And the reason I don't want to get bored is because if I get bored, I get depressed because I think about things that have happened to me in the past. And this is not good, trust me. So I distract myself with shiny objects. And as a result of this, my interests are many and varied. So science fiction, gaming, writing, vlogging, military history, cats, photography, flying drones, gadgets. I've got in my Facebook banner, for example, what have we got? We've got Beans on Toast, Monty Python, Cats, Lego, Red Dwarf, Alan Partridge, Star Trek, Tanks, Star Wars, Doctor Who, The Prisoner. I used to play a game called Elite Dangerous, Nerf guns, Target books, Blake 7, Britpop, Action Man, Tintin, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, The Doors, the band. And, you know, it's like all this stuff's constantly going on in my head. And it's partially so that I don't think about stuff. And as a result, I have quite a quick turnover in my mind of interests. And if something shiny catches my eye, I'll go and pursue that for a little while. And I'll always come back. My core hobbies don't change. But sometimes I go out and do other stuff for a while. And then I'll drift back to where I was. Or then I'll go off and do something else. And it might take a little bit while longer, but I'll drift back to where I was, right? And this is a me problem. But the problem is that my past is strewn with people who I have pissed off in the past because I've got in really deeply, heavily into a hobby, and then I just drop it because I go on to something else. And I don't drop it completely. I will come back to it. But in the meantime, I leave these people for dust. And it's because I have this constant churn and turnover in my head of things that to keep me interested, to keep me entertained. And it's because I've got this this intent to not be bored and to constantly move on to stuff. And it's kind of, I'm not fixed in space and time, I guess you could say. I had some words to say just now, but I've forgotten what they are. Never mind. The point is I get really deeply, intently into something, and then I'll get really deeply, intently into something else. And there's a good chance that I'll come back to the thing that I was first really deeply, intently into. But and this is why it's turned into a bit of a psychoanalysis session. This is why I deliberately don't make close friends. I can make friends very easily, and I can talk to people very easily about things, even though I would describe myself as an introvert. But I deliberately keep people at arm's length because I know at some point I'm going to hurt them when I move on to something else. And this is the problem. Is I don't stay fixed on anything, you know? It's like at the moment, vlogging's my thing. Now, I would like to continue doing vlogging because it's a reflection of me and my varied interests, but there's a high probability that I might not do vlogging. That said, the vlogging itself isn't fixed on one topic. You'll have seen in all the thumbnails and if you've watched any of my videos, there's multiple kinds of things that I talk about all the time. Excuse me, I'm just charging up something else whilst I'm talking to you. Where did that go? There it is. Sorry, it's the door to my camera. So this is deliberate. This is why I keep people at arm's length, because number one, people are complicated, and getting involved in their lives, and I've said this before, I'm kind of overly empathetic, right? And getting involved in people's lives makes my life more complicated because I try and solve all their problems, but also because I know at some point I'm going to upset them, I'm going to hurt them, I'm going to piss them off when I go off and get into something else for a little while. And this is why it makes it all the more difficult when someone like Siobhan, who I was very close to, goes, right? Because she was probably one of like 3 or 4 people that has been to this house that I've interacted with on a personal level. Everyone else I interact with is at arm's length on Facebook, right? So anyway, I did consider this request to join this podcast crew. But I wrote back and I was very honest with James, and I said, look, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've got this mental block where I start to resent having to do things to other people's timetable. Anything I sign up for, even if I'm super enthusiastic about it right at the start, after a while, I'm going to get fed up with it and I'm going to want to move on, and I'm not going to want to be tied down. I don't like planning hugely in advance. I like to kind of take each day as a time. In my job, I quite like being in a job where I go to work in the morning or I log on in the morning, not necessarily knowing what I'm going to be doing that day. If I was at a job where I was just staring at a spreadsheet all day long for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 12 months a year, 25 years, I would go insane. I like variety, right? And I don't like being fixed down. And I don't like necessarily sort of, oh, it's Tuesday, I've got to do this. It's Tuesday, I've got to do that. Do you know what I mean? And I think, and how I've been thinking long and hard about this, and I can remember it going back to as long ago when I was 8 years old, which is 46 years ago. And I think I know where it comes from. And I don't want to get too heavy, but I think it's something that I have alluded to in the past involving my stepbrother and a subsequent court case that I took him to court 10 years ago for historic events, shall we say. And I think it's because of that. I think that's why I become resentful. It's this mental block that I've got, right? And I end up working myself into a state about it. And it's also, and I also think I've kind of got this existential dread whenever I leave the house. And this is kind of extending now into online kind of stuff as well, this existential dread. And it's kind of bleeding into sort of interactions with people. I do actually think I've gone a bit strange. Like I say, doing YouTube, doing this channel is fine because it's just me. I've got no one else to rely on. It's just me. I can do this at my own pace. And the other thing, of course, is I don't know when or if Liz is going to come home from hospital. And when and if she does, I'm going to be caring for her. And she used to resent the fact that I would, say, for example, on Sunday evening, I, wouldn't be able to be tucked up in bed with her. I'd be doing a podcast or a Vidiprog or whatever it might be. She used to resent that, even though she said she didn't. She did. She used to resent that. And of course, that rubs off on me as well. So, so this is the problem, right? So I have respectfully declined because I think I would probably end up letting him down. It gives me no pleasure to say that, and it's not personal, but anyway. So that's the sort of, if you recall, some months ago, I might have alluded to some potential podcast news. That was the potential news. I've had a long time to think about it, and when James came to me end of last week, I got back to him pretty quickly with that response because I know myself, and I know that I would probably end up hurting somebody or letting them down in some way through no intent, through no ill will of my own, but I know what I'm like. That's the problem. So that was the other news. So in terms of the state of this channel, I think this channel's in a really good place. I'm really enjoying doing these videos. Bit of variety, like I say. The fact that I've managed to get a few drone flights in recently is good. It's nice to get out of the house, even though I have the existential dread, but I'm not going very far. I think the channel's in a good position. I have yet to hear back from the CAA about the infringement that I reported myself for flying in a no-fly zone. I dobbed myself in. That's on me. As always, I'm short of money because I spend too much on crap. I've got a couple of good things coming in the post soon, hopefully. But yeah, I'm just going to kind of keep buggering on. At the moment, I feel pretty good, but things are up and down in my mind, as you will know if you know me at all. And in half an hour's time, I could be extremely depressed again, depending on what happens. Who knows? But anyway, that's it from me for now. That's the state of the channel. thank you very much for watching this episode of Total Ramblings. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting or liking or sharing or whatever else it might be. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Flickr. You can find me on Instagram. I think I've got a Twitter page, but I don't really follow it much. I still have the World's Bestest Poet website up and running, but I'm thinking about closing it down because I haven't written anything for 18 months and it's just costing me money, really. But yeah, so that's it. That's me. Thank you. Thank you for watching me for 300 episodes, if that's what you've been doing, or thank you for watching me for one episode, if that's all you've been doing. It's absolutely fine. Please remember to do the usual YouTubey stuff, like, share, comment, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. And I will see you in the very next episode. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't have these scheduled out. I've got a bunch of Lego sets down here. I've got some things coming in the post. It might just be me rambling on. I don't know. And that's the beauty of this podcast vlog. I don't know what's going to happen. I just go with the flow. It's just watching this vlog is like being inside my mind. It's chaotic, it's random, but it can be a lot of fun. Thank you very much. Lego, we need to have a word. This is not working for me. I mean, it's physically working, but the convoluted process and the barrier you've put in place to me actually claiming my bloody points is ridiculous. For anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, for the last few years, if you buy a Lego set, on the instructions, you get a QR code. Now, this QR code is not unique to the set. So in other words, all set number 75412 won't have the same QR code. In fact, the QR codes are unique to the individual set that you've bought. And you can see here, these are different. Now, I've already registered this one. Now, what happens is, if you scan this and fill in like a few questions, you will get 20 points added to your Lego VIP account. Okay, so you open up the camera app and you notice here it loads up Lego Builder. Okay, and you click on earn points. Now the first thing you have to do is a maths quiz. Now I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes these questions, they're not difficult, right? But I don't want to be doing maths on a Saturday morning when I'm not working. 20 divided by 4 is 5, right? Okay, that's a simple one. Okay, now to register the set, you have to now log in. So I'm going to fill in my username. Okay, now I have to fill in my password. Luckily my phone has this saved. And now I have to go through two-factor authentication. And what I have to do is I'm going to load up my mail, 165971, 165971. Continue. Now it redirects us. And now we hit register the set. And I'm going to say it's for myself. It was for my birthday and I received it as a gift, and I submit. Now you might say, hey, that's not really a problem. I'm going to demonstrate why this is a problem. As it happens, I've already registered this set. Notice though, it's a different set. This is set 75400. Now, to register the new set, you have to open your camera app again, scan the new QR code, opens Lego Builder, but look what happens. It takes you straight to the previous set that you've already registered. This is not this. This used to work. This used to come up with the new set. I'm going to clear that down. I'm going to try again. Bearing in mind, I have already registered this, so I won't be able to complete this process. We're going to go to legobuilder.com. Now it's found the correct set. And now we're going to hit earn points. And now I have to go through the whole process again. I have to do the maths question. I have to enter my birth year. I have to click continue, I have to click accept, and basically, had I not already registered this set, I would have had to have gone through the entire process of logging in all over again, including two-factor authentication for every single set. If I had a massive stack of instruction booklets, that would literally take me hours. When this was first introduced, you could literally scan instruction after instruction after instruction after instruction. Now I have to log in every single time. Now, call me paranoid, but it's almost as if Lego don't want you picking up those sweet, sweet Lego points. It's almost as if there's a barrier. I wonder why that might be. Answers on a postcard, please.